A group of scientists and bioethicists, funded in part by Bill Gates, is writing papers saying, let's do it. Now remember, when they start telling you, let's do it, it means they're doing it. And I know so many people across the United States, places like Minnesota, places like Nebraska, where this tick wasn't even a few years ago, that actually work around cows, and suddenly they can't eat beef and get violently sick if they eat it. So when the scientist says, oh, you'll eat a little less meat, no, you won't be able to. Alpha-gal syndrome, and that's just part of this. So this is already going on, just like Limes came out of Plum Island on record. That's killed millions and debilitated tens of millions. Invasive ticks have scientists spooked about new diseases. We don't know why all these new ticks that were already in the U.S., they just don't know why they're showing up 2,000 miles away from where they've ever been. They go, oh, it's climate change. No, they're dumping them out, and it turns out they're studying these ticks at research facilities where they're not even local, and Bill Gates is funding it. And that's not a far stretch to releasing them, because the scientists are saying we don't know how that moved 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles in a year. You know, fire ants got here in the 50s on a load of lumber that came into New Orleans from Brazil. They're an aquatic ant, live by the water, horrible, you know who they are. They kill the rest of the ants and everything else. And it took them 50, 60 years to spread across half the country. But ticks that magically have diseases that have never been seen before and aren't in those geographic areas. So A, they've got these new diseases, they don't know where they came from, and B, they're moving thousands of miles sometimes in a year. Newsflash, you don't drop a few ticks out and suddenly they're all over a state a year later. You got to dump them out. Well, it turns out in the 60s and 70s, the CIA did this in Vietnam, and Latin American countries destroy their crops with different insects.